Right, now with dwarf zonals, as I mentioned with the basics, a lot of exhibitors actually grow them annually for show, and here's an example of a younger basic zonal. It's actually a seedling of my own that I actually only developed, that come from a 2013 seed, and I got some cuttings off of the mother plant in August of last year. Now it's doing very well. It's got a nice sort of creamy white bloom that fades to pink. Nothing too spectacular on the bloom front that hasn't been done before, but what I particularly liked about the seedling plant was that it was very, very bushy without doing anything to it whatsoever. So I've got a fair number of cuttings off it in about August. So I'm actually going to have a go to see if they get through for show this year. Now, because they are relatively young plants, I'm not going to actually need to do much in the way of stopping at all. There's a few blooms being thrown, but a lot of the growth is fairly near the base. It's not very long. There's one sort of lead stem which I'll cut back, and that's very much all that I'm going to do with these. So I've got a few of these which I'll just do now. Right, that's that one then. I've taken the lead stem out, and there's another stem growing quite strongly out of that lead stem which I've also stopped. And I've got a lot of side and base shoots coming out from the base. I'm very much going to leave it at that with those. For larger dwarf zonals, this is a plant that's about 18 months old. I have actually let this grow on. I actually didn't stop it in the autumn because I wanted this to put on quite a bit of growth. In some ways, like a fully developed plant. This is bloom that's come on over the winter. And I've got 7 or 8 bloom heads on it, and it's actually not looking too bad a plant. But I can stop this now, and this will actually dense the plant up even more, ready for the summer shows. Full size pot for a dwarf plant, which is a 4.5 inch or 12 centimetre pot. We've got a similar situation. I'll go in and cut off literally just above a break that's facing inwards, which is what I'll generally be looking for, and we'll show you how that goes. Right, so there we are then. We just run through that now, and you saw what I was doing. Now, one of the things that I had to do was actually realign it. At the end there, I could see that some of the branches were just a bit too big and sticking out a bit much in proportion to the rest of the plant. It's also important to get rid of any dead or dying leaves, much like you would during the winter. The other thing though to definitely notice is that I've stripped off some of the leaves that were perhaps a little bit discoloured. There's another one there. This opens up the plant in order to get light to the base of it. I mean, we're getting towards the sort of end part of February now, so the light levels are really beginning to increase. But it's important to get light really penetrating through to the base of the plant to give your plant the best possible light conditions to make the growth really spring from the base. And so that's what I've done. So I've stopped just about every stem there is to go there, and I'm hopeful that that will make a pretty decent show plant come June. So that's the dwarf zonals, the larger dwarf zonals, the slightly older plants that should provide a really mature plant for the summer shows.